plans to take down this Greek team. We'll have to see if they can do it as we move on to the Rift for our fourth game of the day. X7 Esports out on the NLC. On the blue side, Anorthosis Famagusta out of the GLL on the red.
Yeah, honestly, I'll be honest. There you go, guys. That's a nice English sentence for you. If you had nameplates off, I would really prefer Anorthosis' draft here. I think quite a few more early aggression options, as well as just, you know, strong scaling. Strong and consistent scaling, I think, is the key thing here. Attila could end up having a pretty hard time playing the game, depending on how some of these team fights end up playing out, right? If X7 can't get, you know, lane priority around neutral objectives so that they're in the river first, all of a sudden having to deal with the setup of, you know, boomerang blades coming out, having to check into fog against, you know, a rail, of course, the Azir as well, providing a lot of choke control with the soldiers. It's really, really difficult for him to play this out, and he is going to be, you know, the core carry when you look towards those sort of 25 minutes fights onwards to provide a lot of the damage for X7 here. So I'm looking towards how they will try to funnel some resources into Attila's back pocket, because I think they're definitely going to need to have a pretty fed Aphelios to try and match some of that late game DPS, but still a lot of strong pick tools available to X7 that are in the Sejuani. I think they're definitely going to have to lean into that in the mid game.
Yeah, it's already going a little bit aggressive, but this is kind of how Rel likes to play. We'll take a bit of poke on the way out from the double range. But for those of you who haven't been watching the NLC particularly strongly and just follow the European Masters, you'll know X7 obviously made it to knockouts last time around. This season, it's been character development, I guess, throughout the split for this roster. Made some changes initially, and then halfway through the season, Viking came in, looked like a very good unit in playoffs, but then were reverse swept by Dusty. But we watched last game, we all know exactly how good Dusty can be. Very, very interesting team, and we'll have to see how they can do up against the Greek side that has a couple of the bigger names in the scene and could potentially look to, I don't want to just say upset games, but potentially even upset this group.
Yeah, I think there's definitely room for that. Anorthosis, definitely the kind of team that have the picks in their back pocket to do it. They haven't necessarily brought out anything too spicy here to date, but definitely catch you off guard. Caught the other NLC representative off guard in their opening game in the group stages of play-ins. So keep your eyes on this team. I know it is a very stacked group. Of course, the Go Rogue in the Ultra Liga, they were, you know, probably the expected first seed, given their regular split performances so dominant. Of course, the final shenanigans that happened did happen. They ended up in second seed, still Z10, worthy opponents in their own right. When you really do look at this group, it's effectively, you know, 3 expected first seeds. LDLC, the obvious team that did qualify in as the first seed of LFL. And then Anorthosis, of course, so coming in through the play-ins, first seed of the GLL. It's a lot of strong teams, a lot of strong representation domestically from every team in their region.
And I mean, when we look at Anno as well, we had a chat with Kemren, who has a bit of information about some of these teams as we move forward in the tournament. But it's a GLL team that has some of the bigger names in the region, as we've already mentioned. We've got Dominant in the mid lane, who's played everywhere in Greece. And by that, I mean multiple different teams and multiple different roles as well.
I will adjust your point. He's played every role but top, because top is a useless role. Giga Chat.
Oh, as we watch Chasey and Addis just hang it out. But not only Dominant, he's not the only person that we need to watch up against Tempt, really, really strong mid laner. But when we were watching the play-ins and we were doing some coverage there, I managed to speak to Rev, who's watched some of the GLL this season, and he was saying Douglas, the jungler, he's been a massively important part, very, very talented guy, quite a young player coming through. So there's a nice mixture of this old dominant, because that's his name, mid laner, and this younger jungler who's one of the up-and-coming stars of the region. And you know what, I'm going to hold that point, because Viking is coming through, looking for Golden Toast, maybe looking to use that pillar, will slow and knock up. The splash is going to be utilized. Golden Toast will get away, but that Summoner's burn.
Yeah, nice punish there from Viking. You could see Golden Toast, Levi, they just wanted to get the wave in. Golden Toast was kind of battling off against Kasing there. Kasing holds his ground, and then Viking makes his way through that tri-brush. Golden Toast just overextended. I'm not sure what he tried to spell shield, make the Glitter Lance, hard to really tell, but using that pillar to get the flash on the chase down means that, honestly, very easy follow-up gank could be in the offing in the next couple of minutes. Douglas chased out, and to continue your point on Douglas, like you said, dominant mid, of course. Well, dominant. It's so hard to find words that aren't dominant to describe that, man. But mid lane, of course. But Douglas also, he's a man after my own heart. Because
Yes.
Also a bit of a Kaylin joy as well. Now and again, he likes to pull that pick out. He said, this GNL side, no stranger to fling out some more unorthodox picks. Still, nothing here just yet. Game.
I mean, we saw the Belveth bat.
Yeah.
Speaks to some of that style of play, but this tournament has already seen a few interesting picks, is how I'll charitably describe them, I suppose. Shaco, Heimerdinger. What are you doing in my League of Legends games? I guess would be my question. As Addis just going to be chased away by Chasey. Of course, Ornn isn't going to have the most fun time in this matchup because he doesn't really have the pressure to kill Sejuani. The damage isn't really there. But Chasey also would probably need a bit of assistance to do much more than just gain a bit of priority and have pressure up on that top side.
Yeah, what I will say is it's very possible to kill this Ornn once Viking has access to the subjugate.
Yes.
Speaking of level 6s, Tempt has his, and he's moved down to the bottom side already. This is on Vision.
Too.
I know are aware that this is going on, but what will the response be?
They're going to look to go and get something going under tower. Teleport comes through as well, but Tempt is dashing around, gets first blood already, and will look to escape. They find the route out down the lane. That's a very clean dive, and that's first blood X7.
Yeah, not only that, on the top side, Chasey actually interrupts Abyss's teleport. He was trying to get down to this bottom side dive. Maybe he could get something going with the Call of the Forge God. It just doesn't end up happening. So his TP also burned from Anorthosis. Really great dive from X7, very clean. He only get away with 1 kill. Definitely could have looked to potentially find 2, but they denied Golden Toast that wave, and that's the crucial part from that dive.
Anna just sending members up towards this mid lane, knowing that the marksman's going to take a little bit of time. No dragons have yet been touched, and this is something that we've seen a bit thematically, especially through play-ins. Teams not necessarily diving on those dragons as they come up. Of course, we have had those dragon changes, but let's have another breakdown of this dive, Jawada, because it just looked very, very clinical.
Yeah, I mean, it just is, right? Golden Toast, no summoner spells, the target focus is just on him. Chasey just being a bit of a nuisance for Addis there. Interrupt that with the Glacial Prison. Yeah, dive itself, very, very clean. And like you say, interesting to not see X7 go towards that dragon. I think, of course, with the changes to dragons, it's a much bigger time investment than they were on 12-13. Backwards, so 12-14, a lot more health. A little less damage, but obviously because they take longer to kill, technically they can deal more damage to you. So X7 just decide to call it the end of the play there, and instead on the next wave bounce in, going to start this one up. And this time they will collect it as a get that wave shoved in. And this is just not having fun here. This is potential solo kill.
Ooh, the flash is enough to keep him off Chasey, and will be able to escape. But this is the problem with this Ornn pick up into Sejuani. You don't have the damage to burst through her. She's going to be able to just out-sustain, get that damage down, and potentially look for pressure and kills. However, it is Douglas on the top side looking towards that Rift Herald, knowing that Viking has just taken that mounted dragon. X7 on the bot side, though. A lot of time. Chasey could look towards Wukong. Pig versus Monkey. Who's going to win it? Nice, that forward. There's the Ignite as well. Douglas running away, but here's the Call of the Forge God. Keeping Chasey away. The smite comes through. It will be scored by Douglas. Will he be able to survive? No, he won't, but who will pick up the eye? Dominant manages to scrap through and get it, and Chasey in a lot of trouble. No mana, no health, no way out, as he is going to be cut down. The Emperor of Shurima picks up the eye and the kill.
Yeah, Chasey plays enough nuisance there, but the Herald still secured by Anorthosis. However, all the time that this is going on X7, just playing so well.
No flash on
Oh, look at Golden Toast. They don't. Okay. All right, I'm just going to say this. That looked a lot funnier than it probably was. But I think because there's no vision in that rush, X7 probably didn't know that Golden Toast could have moved. So they just decided to not aggress any further. I think that's probably the core of what happened there, because they knew where everybody else was on Anorthosis. But still, look at this tower. It's taking such a beating. And we kind of underlined, right, that if Attila was to play the game, he'll need to be pretty damn strong. And X7, I think, recognizing that win condition, trying to deny Golden Toast as much resources as they can and funnel as much gold as they can towards Attila.
And this is a bot lane from the NLC, which is ebbed and flowed in general opinion when it came in. And first was announced that Attila would be joining Kasing down there, replacing Nata, who had had a pretty strong time on X7. Everyone was like, cool, this is going to be amazing. Attila, really strong. They played really great. But then the first few weeks happened, and it was a bit disappointing, I guess I would say. As a lane, as I said, when I think the team started to develop and improve somewhat, they came back to being for this and Attila, you know how good he is in late game team fights. He just needed a little bit more assistance getting there. And I think Kasinga's really been a great enabler for not only him, but for the rest of this X7 roster this season.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I think I recall having a talk with Veteran at the very start of the split, right before it actually started, kind of just gauging strength for some of the rosters, the lineups. And he said, you know, X7 with Kasinga and Attila in the bottom side, what you saw a lot at Giants was as a duo, they would get exposed a lot inside of lane. And the way kind of around that was to remove Kasinga from the lane entirely and just get him roaming out onto the map. And this game here, though, you wouldn't have guessed that that was ever the narrative. X7 have really been doing a great job of playing around this bottom side. Kasinga as well. It feels like over the course of the split, whilst he has, of course, naturally been on quite a few playmakers, has also just really been a big enchanter enjoyer of this split. And so many different picks. Janna, Indian, of course, classic of his. And like this loot, of course. But I think playing around now the bottom side a little more frequently when they're not really in these lanes that can B2'd from the get-go really does enable, like you say, Attila to get to a point where he can be one of those strongest team fighters here in the RLs.
Keep my eyes on Dominant as well. Remember, he was the one who picked up the Rift Herald Eye and not Douglas, so it ruins my classic question of where should this eye be dropped, because it's Azir, so probably mid. You've got to imagine as chasing Addis, taking chunks out of each other once again. A bit of tankiness will help Addis probably just walk away from this one, but Chasey is really giving it to him at the moment, dashing forward with the Arctic Assault and looking just to break him down. The ultimate actually going to be popped. There's the Ignite as well, and this is just a solo kill for
So is this the point where we start, you know, swapping the titles? You know, you remember Thorn is like the tank, bruiser, assassin, warlock. Do we just swap that over to Sejuani on this patch? Because, man, oh man, so much damage coming out. And like you kind of alluded to earlier, this lane phase, it's not really pleasant for the Ornn, right? Sejuani has so many percentage HP damages through the passive, through her own W, of course, scales that. And it's just not been a great time for Addis so far. And that solo kill definitely highlighting that there.
I mean, Trundle hasn't even really shown his face up, which was going to be another big part of the problem, is Viking not going to be able to stop the charge alongside Tempt, but will prevent it from doing anything more than that. So a nice injection to Dominant there, but things are not looking hot around the rest of the map. As we said, Addis struggling in the top lane. Douglas has really failed to get onto the map in any meaningful way so far. And on the bot side, 24 farm up, 4 plates for Attila as well. Gold is starting to swing further and further. Yeah, Cull as well, almost stacked out. It's 1,500 lead X7 at the moment, but we still got plates.
Still for another minute or so. I'm not sure how many more they'll actually end up getting. Like you say, that gold lead, 1,000 at the moment for Attila. I think really what you want to try and track is the second item completion for Attila in comparison to Golden Toast. That's where the gold difference will actually start to show, because right now Kraken Slayer is still completed. So they are, you know, technically, for all intents and purposes, item parry as a hold that point.
Tempt might be in trouble. Stunned up, dashed away using that ultimate. Viking has caught Levi, who has to flash away, but is not mounted, so it's pretty slow. Viking can move forward to try and check it. Coming on through them, Attila moves into on the side. Levi goes down, and they're going to chase further. Douglas needs to dive away. Polymorph as he goes, though, over the wall with the flash. We'll see him out. Once again, except for pick up one, but they dominate the fight.
Yeah, and of course, it's there a little bit too split on the call. They tried to kind of re-engage, but I think the target focus just wasn't quite there. Different members want to go towards Viking, others try and finish off Tempt. Eventually, the X7 collapse is what ends up winning out with more numbers on the field. The ones that win out on this exchange, they'll now become the second dragon of the game.
Get the reveal on what is going to be our Soul Dragon X7 team that's going to have the priority over it.
Oh yeah, let's go. All right. Cloud Dragon got... No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to do it. If you were here yesterday, you might get the running gag. And, you know, I will say 93%, guys. It's mine.
Unfortunately, I wasn't here yesterday. It was Hip Rain. Happy birthday, Hip Rain, by the way. 29?
Oh, yeah. He's old.
Do you know what is actually very sad? Right? Just aside from the game, as we get a reset for both teams, I'm the oldest caster on EU Masters today.
Are you?
Yeah, because Gulberg and Duckling and you are all children. So...
Well, yeah, sure.
Which is pretty tragic for me. I'm not even particularly old, but... like,
you are now.
With you lot running around, my back's starting to go. But moving back onto the game, we've got Addo's slowly but surely falling behind. Chasey might be in trouble though. He gets caught out. A lot of damage going down onto him. But look, he's just not really taking that much, and he tries to walk away. Finally, the passive pops off, and that'll be enough for the shutdown. It goes over to Golden Toast, and that's a good person to pick up that gold.
Yeah, that's really crucial. I didn't actually catch how much gold the shutdown was, but earlier on, we mentioned the Tiller 1,000 gold up. That gold lead definitely going to be closed. As Anorthosis just trying to control this choke here, try and deny X7 entrance, but you can see a Tiller on the top side. Viking
he's overextended. He's gone down. Dominant with the kill as they look to press forward. Viking Attila still hanging around. There's the Emperor's Divide. It doesn't catch anyone this time around though, but it is now a 3v5. Anno huddled around the objective of safety, looking to just secure themselves the second Rift Herald of the game, the second that they will have gained. It's going to go their way. This time around, Wukong does pick it up. The X7, a little bit sloppy, and Anno quick to capitalize.
This is quick to capitalize indeed. With that Herald, they picked up both this game. We'll see where exactly they get to drop this one. But you know, we spoke about how that gold lead may have closed a little bit. It's still 1.6k up, so that's how I rescind my previous point. Get a replay here of the exchange, the initial pick here onto Chasey, and he just buys so much time. And I think the thing of note really is that Anorthosis dumped so many spells into him as well. On top of that, you can see just like 2, 3 almost or so get blown, just trying to take him down. Eventually he does fall, and you can see X7 try and make a re-entrance here, but I'm not really sure what Tempt was. He kind of just spirit rushes in, tries to dodge away, I suppose, from the Cyclone. He's not getting very far. And at that point, X7 kind of just not in any position anymore to contest that. Numbers disadvantage, really nice attempt from Dominant to try and shuttle in Viking, but very fast response on the flash key means that he's able to escape this.
I always enjoy the Sejuani main feeling of being unkillable and exceptionally tanky for like the first 2 seconds of a fight, and then things going south real quick. And Chasey doesn't even have the aftershock, which accentuates that issue. He's gone for the classic grasp for the Undying for the top lane, just to give him that extra bit of health and sustain up against the Ornn, who we all saw him taking chunks out of during that laning phase. But as you mentioned, Attila's still in a good lead. Took down first tower on the bot side, of course, giving him a little bit of an advantage, and now the top lane tower has gone the same way. So 2-0 when it comes to territory for X7, but they do need to keep themselves disciplined, because there was those couple of lapses that gave Anno an opportunity in. And as we talked about with this composition, if they can get onto a strong footing, moving into the big game, moving into these bigger team fights later on, surely they're favored.
Yeah, you'd have to imagine so. We saw a hyper-scaling composition already almost make a massive comeback into Giants in that Z10 game yesterday. It's tooth and nail, Daggerless. It's definitely eyeing up that opportunity there, and I was going to say, honestly, X7 probably with a small window with this item advantage from Attila, but Dominant's actually out on the map right now with Shadow Flame plus Illudence. He is really powerful. This Herald's going to get dropped in the mid lane. If that charge doesn't get stopped, it doesn't quite look like it will. That'll be tier 1 going down, but how will X7 respond? You can see the collapse starting to come through on different sides. How far will Anorthosis go?
Oh, they're just going to engage onto the 3 members in the mid lane. Chase needs to be careful. Nice double knock-up to keep X7's bot lane out of the fight. Tempt over the wall. Gets a lot of damage. Time to go through. Gets the first kill of the fight onto Levi. Golden Toast huddling under that tower as Daggerless goes low. Dives away, but it's burning. Will go down. Tempt on the side. It's a triple kill. What can he do? Dominant dives on top of him. Will he get the fight? Will he get the win? The Fox is running rampant and will pick up another. It's a 4th for X7. This time around, it's Attila who denies the Quadra. Meanwhile, on the side, this thing looking towards the last member. Addis looking for him collapse, but it's not going to be enough. It's going to be another kill going on over. It's the ace X7. It's a triple double as Attila picks up his second.
Yeah, Attila picked up that huge shutdown from Dominant. Now was an excellent fight from Tempt. He finds target access after target access, picks himself up a triple kill. And Anorthosis just oversteps. You can kind of start to see the pincer come in from X7. Tempt on the bottom side, Chasey on the top side. But Anorthosis just overstep, get a little bit too confident, it feels like. With that Sun Disc from Azir, the charge comes in. And you can just kind of see they want to go onto Attila, maybe get a second charge out of it.
But damage, man.
Yeah, it's Tempt damage to Sejuani's ultimate, which locks up Levi, and as soon as Tempt sees the opportunity to dash over the wall with the Spirit Rush, you can just see the reset start to come through. He's already hit multiple members with the orb as well, so everybody that goes down is just getting extra dashes, extra charges. Goes up on to Dominant here, and unfortunately for Tempt, it does drop, but Dominant able to at least trade one back. As Attila, that unfortunately for Anorthosis picks up that huge shutdown, already kind of emphasizing how far ahead Attila is 1-to-1 with Golden Toast, and how when it comes to the DPS department, X7 are going to need him to be accelerated. Accelerated he is at the moment. X7 got this Cloud Dragon. They are a bit over 3,000 gold, and they're on soul point.
5 minutes to play for that one, and Shimada will be running to the bookshop to grab himself a couple more Bibles if we do get to that stage. But Ano, things are seeming to slip away from them further and further as we move. Tempt, of course, with that monstrous team fight that could have potentially been as upset, but he might have overstepped. Needs to be careful as Dominant on the side just chases him away. Baron is on the menu. Are either of these teams looking particularly good to do that one? As Viking maybe looking for a catch, finds Raul who can jump over. Now she's slow. Dagler's running as well. X7 on the chase, looking for the support. Can get some damage down onto Levi. He's going to explode with the ultimate from Attila on the side as well. Chasey is just doing a run back, taking on Golden Toast, looking to be on the hunt, but he's on the retreat as Viking smites him down. X7, 2 on each side. Now the look towards Baron.
Yeah, crucial thing is, observers, does Viking have another smite charge? Because he smited to secure that kill. I guess Douglas is being zoned out. He's in no man's land. The answer is no, by the way. So if Douglas was feeling himself, there would be no smite, but you can see Tempt playing bodyguard. Just a brief lapse in positioning for Anorthosis. We lose a couple of members. It happens on the top side of the map as Baron goes down at 21 minutes. And now X7 have the opportunity to crack open some of these tier 2s and advance towards the base. As we take a look at the replay, Levi demounted after trying to disengage. Doesn't quite make it to the water flash over. Just goes down to Attila's ultimate. You can see that side of the fight. Yeah, Chasey, very, very fed. Sejuani, Viking, you know what? You deserve that kill. You worked for it. You press your W key to get the movement speed to get in range. To press your smite key. So, sure, why not?
It's another solo kill for Trump. Don't worry about it. But that's another classic. People ask me why I play Sejuani. It's funny. More than anything, Chasey is exceptionally strong, not really taking any damage, not really caring too much about individual members of this Anorthosis Famagusta lineup. As Viking now stepping forward with a pillar, catches Dax's clone, but he's able to just jump away. This Baron buff is going to be... What are we looking at here? Are we looking to just take out the inner towers across all 3 lanes? Is there an inroad into the base potentially?
Yeah, so one of the pros about this Anorthosis composition, even though it's fallen quite far behind in total gold, is of course just the wave clear that Azir and Sivir can provide. So if X7 aren't super efficient with how they get these waves stacked in, you'll see Dominant and Golden Toast can clear away these towers quite quickly.
Teleport coming through. It will be a 4v5. The damage coming on down. Viking being chased away, but Levi on the other side deleted by Tempt. Yeah. As now X7 looking to take this one down. Chase running forward, catches Addis. Damage come through, but he dashes right forward. Can't get a knock up though, as the pillar's a little bit too far away. He's taking a whole beating from Tempt, who's also half up. Dominant looking forward, catches one. It's only Kasing, as now Attila melts through. The Emperor's down as X7 chase forward. They've still got Baron buff, remember. They're looking to make sure that Ano have no opportunity to clear these waves, at least from this inner.
Yeah, and honestly, from Dominant, you understand the perspective there, and he actually mechanically plays it well. Just that Attila responds with the flash over the wall. Otherwise, he would have been shoved underneath that tower. Maybe there's room to be jumped on there from Anorthosis. Unfortunately, him going down, another core facet of some of that wave clear drops. And all of a sudden, X7 have a much freer time actually approaching these towers, taking down both the tier 2s mid and top side. This tower's dropping quite low in the mid lane. What's the response going to be again?
This is going lower, and Attila just melts through his health bar. The minion wave is still slightly there, so the tower will crumble. Base broken 23.5 minutes into this game, and X7 will secure themselves the inhibitor as well, backing away without overextending, and this game has looked very, very clean with X7.
Yeah, it really has. X7 just by the books, to be fair. See the engage. I think the idea is just try and play out this 4v4. Get the teleport in, maybe you get a nice little pick at the very start, play a numbers advantage, but it just doesn't happen for them. Unfortunately, he tries to find the knockup on the pillar, and honestly, if he finds it, maybe there's room to play the fight. Take a look at Dominant, look at Attila. He sees the angle for it. Just get that wall off a little bit sooner. He does get shoved underneath the tower, Attila, but Attila's reactions fast enough to flash over that attempt from the little mid laner. He will survive that exchange. And now with that, Anorthosis sit very close to a 10,000 gold. They sit a little bit under 8,000 right now. 30 seconds until the best souls in the game spawns up for X7. Go and claim that one. Baron buff, one off.
He's feeling himself a little bit, jumps onto Golden Toast, looking towards the second inhibitor as X7 are going to send multiple members down. We'll find the charm and the assassination. Golden Toast is dead, as X7 will be able to take down their second inhibitor tower of the game. The inhibitor laid bare as well. With no Sivir to help clear, could X7 look to do more?
They definitely could have played with the idea, but just playing a safer option. Go get the dragon. Go pick up that soul. now that you have those two inhibitors to work with, go back towards the top side. Baron will spawn up again in a couple minutes time. And with that, expect they'll just play off that one lane and let the supers do the rest of the work. Easy pickings for X7. Just a really clean game overall. Feels like to me Anorthosis, we spoke about, the idea of the composition, just kind of waiting until you get to those scaling points. Hope that X7 don't execute too hard, but unfortunately, they kind of did. They just overloaded numbers into the bottom side time and time again. Anorthosis just couldn't play the game, it felt like, ever. And Attila getting so much gold, being able to play out some of these fights so well, just makes it so easy for X7 to make these 5v5s happen. And honestly, even though it's been, Attila who's been the resource focus, you really have to pay credit to the solo lane's attempt to chase it. I think they've had a phenomenal game, opening up Group B for themselves, approaching their first win. Really great stuff from the solo lanes, really great stuff from the team all in all.
Absolutely, and when we talked about how stacked and strong this group is, a team like X7, who not first seed coming into this one, still have to play Rogue, Ago Rogue, and LDLC, a strong performance and a strong start is vital for their hopes of qualification, because at least one very highly valued team in their region will not be making it out of groups this time around. Of course, 3 out of 4 of these teams made it through 2 knockouts, and 2 of these teams made it to semi-finals last split. LDLC and they go Rogue and met in that one, and LDLC took the cake, but we'll talk about that one a little bit more as we move into our second game. But right now, X7 looking to close out the first one as Anno Daggers. His clone took an absolute wallop, but he was okay.
Daggers got hit by that initial ultimate and stayed CC'd. He dead. As X7 just playing a little bit slow here. That charm's going to connect into the clone. But they kind of recognize, right? Look towards the bottom side, the mid lane. They're going to have to respond to the minions sooner or later. They will just turn their eyes towards the Baron. One's going to spawn up. And X7 will shred through this pretty quickly. Attila doesn't have the best guns in the world, but he is also a 3.5 Iron Phoenix, so it's not really going to matter too much. Now X7 can go and return back to the Anorthosis base and finish what they start.
Going to be trying to check out the enemy base, see a few of the sites. Most notably, probably that top lane inhibitor and then the Nexus itself. But whether they'll be able to break through. I know a couple of their champions, Severe, coming towards that third item, hopefully in the next couple of waves. Is there a way that Anno can play with their backs to the wall long enough to survive this game?
I think it really depends on X7 and how they play it. I think they've been doing a really good job of kind of just finding these picks off of some of their longer range engage tools, charms, Sejuani ultimates. Attila going forward, apparently.
That's aggressive, attempts to dive forward and over the wall again. Gets a lot of damage onto Levi, but no assassination this time around. And the minion wave has been broken pretty much entirely, so a little bit of respite there for Anno as they can look to rejuvenate and reset. And it looks like X7 are going to do the same.
Honestly, massive win for Anorthosis, staving off this Baron up siege. Well, X7 weren't playing all of the lanes, right? They were still kind of applying that same mentality of, all right, we have supers in mid lane and the bottom side. Let's just go 4-5 top. Really able to, really fully utilize the power of the Baron buff. Spread the super minions, super duper minions, we'll call them, sure. And yeah, just a little bit of an overstep from Attila means that they have to disengage in the Anorthosis now. Have a couple more minutes to play with, a couple more minutes to try and get some items underneath their belt. Dominant going towards that Lord Dominic's as a third item. See if he can get to it, because right now Dominant is putting out some huge numbers in damage. At the very least, for Anorthosis, you can just kind of see it. So far, I wouldn't be surprised if he's dealing probably more than double anyone else has dealt so far on the Anorthosis side. He has to be alive to do it.
He is alive for now. We'll be able to just slide away from the ultimate from Chasey. Levi might not be so lucky, though, has to dive off himself. As X7 is still fishing, still prodding, still probing for that killer blow. As they continue to seep down this top line, Alice throws down the corner forward. God, Daggers looking to get in, but the ultimate can find no one as Viking steps away, looking towards this tower now. The damage is there, and they're going to start ripping through Anno's front line. The back line will also fall as X7 will take the ace, the base, the game. They take the lot, and that's a massive quadra kill. Temps is the scumbag who steals away the Penta, but Anorthosis Famagusta, they took down JDXL. They thought they had the UK sus, but they're built different on the Isle of Man, as X7 will take the first win of the group.
Yeah, clean and clinical from X7. It's kind of what we expect from them typically. And it's best of one. They're not going to get caught off guard by anything too